I can't help but notice on yours and Alan's profile, I think Alan's profile, Pokemon Sword is being played.
It sure is, Hunty.
Oh, give me that tea.
So, approximately 4 to 6 days ago, we drove through the McDonald's parking lot because it was one of those, like, my sister was having a lazy parenting day, and they handed us a giant Happy Meal shaped like a Pikachu.
Oh.
Uh, and we're like, wait a second. And Josh has been telling me and of course yourself, but this time the update did not come from you. Josh was like, it's Pokemon Day tomorrow, so don't expect any text messages from me. Leave them there. I'm not replying because him and his friends take the entire day off and Pokemon.
Pokemon
Plus,
Snap, to be specific.
Snap was being released that day as well, and he was like, I didn't get a pre-release. I don't like digital copies. I have to go and get it. So
Yeah.
I think that's what they do, or that's what they did. And anyway, cut to opening the toy, and my niece is immediately obsessed with Pokemon cards because that was the toy in the box. And I was like, these things are like, they outlasted Pogs, they outlasted Beyblades, they
Mhm.
will outlast Jax, the
Yeah.
original toy. And she's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Well, they're Pokemon cards, and you collect them, and you can like trade them and fight them.
Battle, yeah.
You can
Yeah.
battle." So she was like, "Well, what?" She didn't really know what Pokemon was. So I found Pokemon and streamed it, like the first 3 episodes. Immediate obsession,
Oh
like
no.
with Pokemon. I was like, well, do you know what? I didn't have anybody like me and my twin sister when we were born into this earth. We did not have. There was like a big gap between my older sister, my older brother, and then us being born because my parents immigrated here. They were super happy, so happy, in fact, that they, you know, accidentally
Had another child or two.
had another child, and it turned out to be twins. So hashtag secrets
Mm.
were exposed. Like I'm a twin, and we didn't have anyone in our lives to kind of guide us through being obsessed with things. Um, so we didn't ever discover. Me and Julie never discovered Pokemon, and being there at the ground, like the ground zero of of my sister's child who is like 6,
Yeah.
discovering Pokemon is probably like the next best thing.
I
So
think
now,
I think that is the reason to have children going forward or being a close auntie because
yeah,
Pokemon is first of all it's legit. Second of all, you have an excuse to ride those coattails of obsession.
yes,
Oh.
and I have a reason. But here's the thing: is that my brother-in-law, my niece's father, is he's into video games, and like we're the three of us are big geeks. So it was very, he wanted to get her into it like a little bit later because they have been playing Animal Crossing and Super Mario. They just finished up most of Odyssey.
Really?
And we're still, yeah, we're still like, um, we might have an esports athlete on our hands. I don't know. She's very adept. But for like a 6-year-old, I'm surprised. Uh we're still fishing in Animal Crossing and buying everything from like the Able sisters because fashion.
Fashion.
Um but
Fashion.
yes, and he was like, I guess we get started with Pokemon. So he downloaded Sword and Shield because he has always wanted it as well. He was
Yeah.
kind of waiting, and now they've been sword and shielding.
It's yeah, good luck. Sword and shield, or I have shield. I don't have sword. You get one or the other, and the availability of Pokemon is slightly different, but it's the exact same game.
Uh-huh.
This one is interesting because it's the first time they've ever tried in like open world kind of. It's not like completely open world, but they have open
Mm-mm.
areas in the game that are just you just explore.
Mhm.
So That's big for Pokemon because like they've always been like go from gym 1, go to gym 2, go to gym 3, and now we're finally getting somewhere. We're getting to like the whimsy of exploring in Pokemon. That's what we want in a
Oh
Pokemon
yeah,
game.
it feels very real world. I'm afraid to tell her that Pokemon Go exists on a cell phone because we
Oh,
already had her. Me and my sister are we play Wizards Unite, the open world sort of like geolocation Harry Potter
yep.
game,
Yep.
um, fondly known as HP Go. So we've been playing that, and whenever we get sick of spellcasting, she's been spellcasting for us and like hitting like poking at the brilliance. So yeah, I'm afraid to show her Pokemon, like Pokemon Go. I'm not even going to talk about it because then she already steals our phones while we're sleeping, sneaks into her room to watch YouTube until everyone wakes up.
What
There
a
have been,
little critter.
yeah, many. I feel like, when you were in kindergarten and like a couple of the kids would roll in late with like
Hmm.
McDonald's breakfast.
That's Abby.
That's Abby. I'm like, that's so weird. I wonder what they do. Maybe they've been farming all morning because I grew up in a farming town. Maybe they've been farming all morning. Some cases they were farming. The other cases were just like, you know, hot mess parents.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Well,
So, um,
yeah.
welcome to the Full Volume Podcast.
Yeah, what's up?
I am your co-host, G.I. Jolie, and I am joined by.
Harvey Brent.
And today is a quiet day. Today is a day that Marvel Disney Plus has allowed us for contemplation and
Yeah.
reflection.
It feels like
Um,
the Sabbath. I have rest. I don't have to critically pick apart Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
oh God.
Oh.
That was I would argue that was like more intense than WandaVision.
It was because it was intense in the fact that it was harder to motivate myself to watch it. Not that I'm not a fan of Marvel, I am, but like
Mhm.
again, for the millionth time, it was just so it bled into everything else. It didn't stand out, and then you're asking me to watch it, and then I have to like think about it critically. What? You know?
Right?
So that was actually a bit of a challenge. I mean, obviously, the race conversation was I think, something that stuck out and was easy to talk about, but everything else, I'm like, are they doing espionage? Are they telling lies and secrets? What's going on? I don't know. So it's
Right.
just that part of the show. I wasn't into the Mission Impossible format
Mm-mm.
of the
It was
show.
like, yeah, and usually I'm into a good impossible mission, but this
Mhm.
was just it was kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
It was hard to do because I didn't want to do it. And
Mission exhaustible.
yes, mission not fun. S- It,
But brighter days ahead, though.
yes. So we didn't have anything to watch this weekend. But what we
Mm.
did have to watch, or what we've been stewing on, is the latest batch of Marvel announcements that have come sort of down the pipeline. There was this huge trailer, which included scenes from upcoming films
Mhm.
and sneaky sneak peeks. Did you see it, Brent?
I no, I saw it advertised for it was like a compilation of Phase 4 footage going forward, and I saw the link, and I wish I would have clicked it at the time because I couldn't find it again. But instead, as a consolation, I watched like the full trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Black Widow, and Loki. But I've seen the Loki trailer like quite a few times already. So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I did see that was a thing though. I couldn't find it again.
Yeah, no problem. It popped up for me in on YouTube, and I kind of was like, watch later, watch later. Like I've got a bunch of other stuff
Yeah.
to watch. I'm like sitting here furiously catching up on like Phil DeFranco episodes and
And
but let's
me over here
mm,
with the Buffy, just like powering
yeah.
through with my mug, by the way, from The Handmaid Tale. I don't
Yes.
know. Can you guys see this? It says Buffy will patrol tonight. Um, it is a shout out to arguably the greatest episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer of all time, season 4, episode 10, Hush.
Yes, arguably one of the best episodes of a television series ever as well.
Yeah.
It's like e- Emmy nominated?
It was the only ever Emmy nominated episode of Buffy, apparently.
Yes, and it's up there in like in TV episodes. Like the I think yesterday was the 20th anniversary of that Sopranos episode, like where they're lost in the woods.
Yeah.
That's like on top of mind for everybody. Soon we'll have the anniversary of the horse episode, and it's like um whenever it's just synonymous with good television. Unfortunately, Joss Whedon has gone and canceled herself, so
Yeah.
but we can
Which
still
is
watch all the great stuff that he left us.
well, yeah, I talked about that with Mike a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it's hard for me to like because like clearly Whedon gets royalties, so it's like it's hard because like I really want to continue watching Buffy. I've never fully watched Buffy all the way through, and it's like how do I separate the art from the artist? But also I'm a big supporter of like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Charisma Carpenter, Allison Hannigan, Julie Benz, like all these like strong female roles, and then it's like tied to Joss Whedon, and it's like, meh.
Mhm.
So, but I like the intent is there. I don't know. I hope Sarah Michelle gets royalties too from me watching it, and not just Joss Whedon.
Yeah, me too. And like there has been an explosion in Buffy popularity, and I think it comes with it being available to stream on Prime finally.
It's also on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, hello. Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
right. It's Fox. So, secrets exposed.
Mm,
I am the designer behind that mug.
fuck yeah. Oh, sorry.
Because
Explicit.
explicit explicit tag. But yeah, so and I was sick of having like a mug that wasn't left-handed and right-handed. So like if you carry it in your right hand, the B will show.
Yeah.
So you can let people know that you love Buffy whatever hand you write with or are dominant with.
It's a two. That was the sticker that was on it. It said two-sided mug, and yeah, and it also works on like literally so many levels with me. My name's Brent. There's a B.
Yes.
Like, hello.
B is for Harvey Brent.
Yeah.
Honestly, that episode is hilarious. That scene itself is like in a genre television show that is supposed to be like, horror based. It was the funniest.
But also the scariest. It,
Yes.
but like in a good way. Like not like it was just so well done. Like the tension, the makeup design of the gentleman and stuff. Like,
Oh,
oh, it's even that episode is over 20 years old. It still holds up.
yes. It does. And it's like, and it speaks to an anxiety that I've had, that I've dreamed of. And I'm sure everyone has had those same fears and anxieties.
Hmm.
It's just, it was so good. And I remember it happening. And my mom is like, when we were watching it, because I always watched it with my mom, she was always interested. Um, she didn't always understand what was going on, but she's like, oh my God. She had never seen anything so scary. And they're like she grew up with like Thai horror shows. And like I've seen that stuff. It's all supernatural, ghosts, people eaters, like
Oh,
it's zombies, red-eyed monsters. It's fucking scary. And like,
cool.
yeah, I can't watch horror when my mom is watching her horror like soaps.
Her horror soaps, yes.
They have something called like Lacan, which I equate to soap operas, and they have the different genres, right? So there's like romance ones. There's like there's one that's like it's just rich people. So I guess it
Scary.
would yes, maybe it is horror, but it's like they have they just look at the lives of these rich people. Like it's like the Kardashians but scripted.
Gotcha.
And it's
Well,
like
I mean, I would also hazard a guess that the Kardashians is at least a little bit scripted, but splitting hairs
yes.
there.
Yeah. And then they have rural comedy. That's kind of like a cross section of this, etc., etc. And then they have the horror, or like the folklore.
Oh
And
man.
they yeah, where they have like Thai giants, and like they
Wow.
have like those scary mask faces. And I just, maybe that's why I'm such like a chicken.
Bok bok.
So scary, scaredy
Yeah.
cat.
Um,
Yeah.
so I find that interesting though that there's no we're on such a massive tangent, FYI. I find it so interesting though that in Thai horror you didn't list off serial killers. You said supernatural. And I find that interesting. That just makes me think of like serial killers as such like a Western phenomenon and like predominantly an American phenomenon. And it also makes me embarrassed to be North American because
Right? It's
we branded serial killers. We made that a thing.
Yeah, I think it's, you know what? I never lived there. I've lived here in Canada all my life. I was born here. Sorry, it's like that's a long list of things that I'm used to saying when I legitimize my upbringing,
Hmm.
my position as a Canadian. But no, do you know what? Now that you say that and I'm thinking about it, there really isn't. Um,
Interesting.
that history, the history, I think mental health and upbringing definitely has something to do with it. And I think that North America is maybe a hotbed
We a little
of,
crazy.
yeah, of
Yeah.
maybe breeding that type of person into existence. And it's not to say that there aren't serial killers or mass murderers in Thailand. The only people that I've heard of who have killed en masse, like sex workers, have been like white tourists,
Mm,
or like, yeah,
shocker.
like white men who've decided to make Thailand their home. There have been some cases where like there are people who kill, but they're not like, gunning down people in the streets, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. I will say though that, oh, there's something that I had to say along the tip of murder. Oh, that's it. It's a very socialist, not socialist, like very slightly communist, right? The laws are much different.
Uh-huh.
It's I want to say it's easier to get away with murder there. So maybe there's just some things being swept under the rug that no one sees.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Mm,
Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be
I mean,
very. Have you've been, right? You've been to Thailand.
mm, we're supposed to go in 2020.
You know what? I knew that before COVID hit. I remember you were saying your parents were considering possibly moving back or something, or
They were actually there when the pandemic hit. They had been there.
no.
Yeah, they have a house back there. They were there for 3 months. The month that we got locked away, March 2020,
Yeah.
is the month that they were coming back.
Oh.
Yeah, they got they were stranded. They delayed themselves for a little bit longer. And then when it seemed like they were, because we all just assumed that Canada would shut down the border, that we would take leadership tips potentially from New Zealand and just be like, okay, that's it, air traffic done.
LOL.
JK. So
Jokesies.
they just hopped on a plane and came right here, and I was scared for them because of the amount of people that I had heard were passing through Pearson International.
Hmm.
And some of the cases of people that I knew who had caught it had been in the airport.
Mm.
And I didn't want them on a plane. I didn't want them in Toronto. I didn't want them in Pearson.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to stay. I was like, you know what? Whatever. We'll take we're not a rich family, but like, just take the hit, cancel the flights. We'll pay for you
Yeah.
to come home when it's actually safe. But here's the thing, they probably would have still been there. They probably
Yeah.
would have still been there at this point, because wouldn't you know, Canada didn't really get that under control.
Well, and I find too a lot of countries like Thailand, they are extremely compliant with dealing with communicable disease like this, and so like everybody doesn't have a problem wearing a mask. And that's really refreshing to see because we have a lot of individualists over here in Canada that think a mask is equated to oppression, which means
Mm,
if that's your version of oppression, consider yourself very lucky.
yeah, and I think that the Thai people have been through worse. The
Oh
Thai
yeah.
people trust science for the most part. And they also trust because they live in an Asian country that's very close to other Asian countries
Mm.
that are overcrowded, overpopulated, have commitments to environmentalism that they need to uphold. So, in short, what I'm trying to say is they have been wearing masks, but for different reasons.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
my mom will say how she's going to the market, but like the market when she was a kid, it was like fresh and fun, and it was just like a quick escape from home. And now it's like this overcrowded, kind of polluted place to be. And she said the congestion from the cars is enough to warrant wearing a mask.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So she's like, people in Asian countries don't have any problem wearing masks because they've been using masks to protect themselves from other
A
things
hundred
this whole
percent.
time.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it, it's not, I don't think it's selfish at all. They just don't want to die. They just don't
Yeah.
want to die.
And
So,
look at their
and they
case
don't want
counts.
you to die. Yeah, and they don't want you to die. And they want your neighbor to exist. And they
Yeah.
want the guy at the grocery who runs the store to like continue to live on. So it's unselfish. It's the kindest thing you can do. It's like the least you can do to show
Yeah.
somebody you care about them is that and their health is just to put that good old thing on your face.
Mhm. What were we talking about again? Marvel?
Shang-Chi and the
Shang-Chi.
Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah. Oh,
Um
that's is that the first one coming out? No, 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 no. Loki's coming out first.
Yes, yes, the television show. So Loki is
Loki.
coming out. And I think um so I just in rewatching the trailer, one, it's
Uh-huh.
not I feel like it's going to be like a mix. And maybe finally we're going to get some like fantasy elements, fantasy genre elements in the mix.
Like what, per se? Like,
Um Potentially we'll go Norse. Oh,
oh, okay, I kind of see what you mean. Okay.
intergalactic travel. He
You're serving me
himself.
some intergalactic Viking realness.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we're and but also like just sort of like mania and weirdness. Because the end shot of the trailer, and I'm going to spoil it, so I don't care if you're here for spoilers or not, get the heck
Oilies.
out. If you were even interested, you would have watched it already.
Yep.
We get a shot of President Loki or presidential candidate Loki from the Vote Loki 4-part comic series that Marvel had released in June of 2016. It was sort of a
That's
send up.
very ironic.
Yeah, it was sort of a send up created by Christopher Hastings. It was a send up to this 2016 election. And his shtick was that vote for me because I will lie to you. That's who I am.
Oh my God.
You have no fear. And apparently, and I don't know if this is the part that's like ironic or the send up, but it's like he does very well in the polls because that is his shtick.
Well, if that's a case of art imitating life, they nailed it.
Right.
They nailed it.
So I'm gonna immediately. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's. I mean, if only we could get Loki to travel back in time in real life and run for the 2016 election. I wonder how different the world would be now.
I know, right? I mean, they had other clowns, but clearly Kanye West was not crazy or enough or honest enough
What an
to capture
icon,
the
a true
hearts and the
icon.
minds
Oh my
of the
God.
Republican National.
What world do we live in? Anyways, no, Loki looks. I'm super excited about your comment about fantasy elements. I actually got a what's the word? I got a vibe from a different series. It wasn't it kind of gave me like a do you know the book by Aldous Huxley called Brave New World?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of like, granted, I understand that the subject matter is completely different. This is going to be more action based, and it's comic book based, and it's going to be doing a lot with time travel, which I'm super excited about. But it's giving me that vibe of a very organized administrative overhang, like, on the whole thing. Like this whole they're not called Time Bureau. What are they called again? They're called
Oh my
time.
goodness.
It's time adjustment or time correction. Oh my goodness.
Oh, powers of Google. The time. Oh God. Time. You know, that's a very good. That's a good question for next time. But
Yeah.
but
It's
I get what. Yeah, I get where you're where you're going. They're like
yeah.
this. They're like the Big Brother, the seeing eye, the
Thank
directors of
that's
everything.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
Oh my God. What would I do without you? Yes, that is what I'm trying to insinuate. It gives me like Big Brother overarching administrative vibes, pushing it too far. Which we love to see. We love a story of someone, aka Loki, overcoming administration, overcoming paperwork personified as control, and just dealing with the shit. So I'm excited for that. I think there's gonna be um I hope they haven't, like, this is only 6 episodes, I think. I think there's gonna be some big changes to the timeline, obvi. Um,
Hmm.
I have read like theories, I guess, on Reddit saying, like, Loki's gonna go back in time and prevent his death by the hands of Thanos. There's other people saying that, like, he's actually going to end up dying twice, and so he'll still be dead by the end of the series. So there's like, I've read a lot of different. I'm not elaborating on them very well, but I've read a lot of different theories on what could happen, and I really hope there's something big. And I got to thinking as I was watching again. I watched a few trailers today just to kind of remind me of what Phase 4 is about, and then I realized
Hmm.
we have a Black Widow film coming up. And wouldn't it just be something if, like, why would they make a Black Widow film if they're not going to be using Scarlett Johansson anymore because she died in Endgame? So I'm wondering if Loki has some sort of tomfoolery where he goes back in time and gets Black Widow involved. It just from a investment point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why would you make a Black Widow prequel and then never use her again? Pourquoi? For why?
all all great points, all great questions. It
Yeah.
is. It's a mystery. I hope he has the powers of some kind of time travel because again, it does seem that way. They introduce it like they show him during the events of his capture. He touches the cube. Which cube is
Mhm.
it?
It's the blue. Is it the mind? Is blue is Mind Stone? The Tesseract you're talking about?
That's
It's
it.
Yeah,
Yes,
Tesseract.
he grabs it and he
Yeah.
warps away. And I mean, we could talk about the casting choice of what is his name?
Tom
Owen
Hiddleston?
Wilson.
Oh, Owen Wilson. Yeah.
But you immediately see him being introduced to this weird world by Owen Wilson, and it seems Owen Wilson himself says it that time wherever the TVA is that it passes differently. So we don't know. Potentially, um, he'll be rocking the other timeline. I don't. Part of me doesn't want him to. If he does, maybe she's like Robert Downey Jr. where she wants out, but like just leave Scarlett Johansson where she fell.
Oh, you don't want her to come back.
I don't know. I think I'm done with the original four. Like it was Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain America, and the Hulk.
Yeah.
They're kind of they've run their they've run their course.
Is is
They've
Mark
done
is Mark
what needed
Ruffalo
to be done.
done? Is he done as Hulk?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more Hulk because I feel like they didn't really do the Hulk justice.
I don't think they know
Um,
how, to be honest.
yeah, I think there was too much getting it wrong before the cinematic universe started getting it right. So they would be foolish to let a national treasure like not Eric Bana, like him, Mark Ruffalo go. So I mean, I feel like they're going to keep him on board for sure, but like in less of a leadership role, because
I mean,
obviously we have a new Cap. So
I kind of already got that vibe though from the last two Avengers films. He kind of took a back seat,
hmm
so
yeah, yep.
I'm getting
Probably
that vibe.
take like an R&D science like M sort of role,
Yeah.
but which
Huh.
I'm comfortable with as long as he's still involved. But the other three, I mean, Steve Rogers is one foot in the grave, and the other two are already in the grave. So
Literally, yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I'm okay with that. And like, yeah, they need to move forward, so that's cool. No, Loki looks so cool though. Like I'm way more excited about that than Captain America. Or
yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sorry. But I guess
I'm
Captain
excited.
America
Yeah,
now. Now he's
I'm
Captain
excited
America.
for a Black Captain America. I feel like
Yeah.
we didn't need to take like 6 episodes of a television series to get there.
I remember saying to Mike, I'm like, it would have been better as a film. They could have trimmed a lot of fat, made it a good story, about race, and I don't even oh God, the action side of it was just such a mess. But anyways, enough of that. So I'm excited for Loki though. I think it's gonna be great.
Uh-huh.
What's your thoughts on Black Widow and Shang-Chi?
I'm obviously way more excited for Shang-Chi and the Legend
Yeah.
of the Ten Rings because I have been like I've been watching this whole Simu Liu thing unfold on the internet. And then to have him actually land the role
Mm-hmm.
of Shang-Chi's,
Did he campaign for it?
well, he tweeted it into the world.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he did campaign for it.
Yeah, and then he called back to it, and I think that's when people noticed his tweet. He called back to it and was like, "Hey, thanks for hearing my story,
Yeah.
taking my application." But yeah, like I can't believe it. Let's see. Let's go through his stunning Chinese Canadian history. Okay. So, oh, he was born in China. Cool, 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 cool.
Cool.
Moved to Canada.
I'm
Okay, that's
guessing
fine.
Toronto.
Mississauga, baby.
Oh, Mississauga. Okay.
He was raised in Erin Mills, an area of Mississauga. Jeepers. So very hyper local.
You want to know a
Uh,
weird story? One time I met someone from Mississauga and I didn't really have a talking point, so I said, "Oh, Mississauga, big fan of Square One." And they were like, "Excuse me?" The mall. Yeah, it wasn't my greatest moment. So that is my experience with the SOG.
I have a cousin that lives there.
There you go.
That's it. Oh, he has a background in martial arts, Taekwondo and Wing Chun specifically, as well as gymnastics. So it's almost as if he was being groomed for this role from
This
birth.
is his destiny.
It is. So I have been watching, I am familiar with him because I have been um one of the self-loathing Asians. I'm part of that pack who is rediscovering my Asianness and watching Asian
Kim's Kim
content.
Kim's
So
Convenience, are you thinking?
yes, he plays
Yeah.
the eldest son in Kim's Convenience, and like I'm not Korean. He's not Korean, but
Mhm.
like most of the South Asian experience is the same, regardless of whether your parents own a convenience store or not. Like
Yeah.
they're the same people. They are in a fight. Dad is always in a fight with the eldest brother if there are boys in your family, which there are, because they would not have stopped until they had one.
Right.
Um, let's see here. Yeah, so that's what I'm familiar with, and
Mm.
to hear that somebody of color is going to be starring in a Marvel property that is a kung fu movie, pretty much is exciting, and I'm here for it. Aquafina is in that movie too. I freaking love her.
So an interesting thing I did read about Shang-Chi, just in general, the brand. So from my understanding, Shang-Chi's been in the comics for a while. He hasn't been featured very strongly though, and particularly he has only ever been in one Marvel video game ever. Keep in mind there's probably about 50, I would say. He has only ever been in a mobile Marvel game, which is I think so interesting to me that he's just never been advertised, you know? So I'm like, huh. But he's got like such a distinct, like, you know, I've seen a couple of the covers. I shouldn't say he hasn't been featured in the comics. He has been. He has his own line too, like the Shang-Chi line, and it's more of a kung fu based comic book, if I'm correct. I remember seeing some of the
Hmm.
covers. I have not read them. Again, I generally only read X-Men because that's all I have time for. Um,
Hmm.
but it's yeah, so I was just I found that weird that he has his own series in the comics technically, and I'm sure he's featured and he pops in as a lot of Marvel characters do in other people's comics, but he's only ever been in one video game. Like that's crazy to me. There's been a lot of Marvel video games across many different platforms. I don't know. Sorry, that's just something I thought of.
Yeah, and I wonder if it has to do with, I mean, that he was a spin-off character from from a novel, like already licensed property. So
Yeah.
it was almost as if Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin, who are the creators of Shang-Chi,
Hmm.
it's almost as if they pulled him in because they needed representation. I
Yeah.
don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but that's what it seems like to me. From just like a brief reading of his history in the Bronze Age, and then obviously he's been a back burner. So um hopefully we can kind of push him the way that they like. Iron Man was like a BC character,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Shang-Chi is like what, like it's C-ish
Yeah.
D-ish character,
Yeah.
and it's like, let's just move him to the front because everyone likes a good kung fu movie and everyone likes a good Canadian boy. So
Hmm.
I'm into it. I don't know anything about Shang-Chi. I like barely read the comics growing up. I'm excited to just like to watch this for the first time in a while. I'm excited to just watch this, be entertained, and get obsessed from ground zero.
Also too, he is not the only Asian Canadian right now that's prominent in franchises. I don't know if you've been up to date the past couple of weekends with the release of the new Mortal Kombat film. Uh,
Oh,
Ludi Lin, I probably didn't pronounce his name right. Ludi Lin is from China, but he's based out of BC, and he is the main character in Mortal Kombat.
ooh, I have yet to watch Mortal Kombat. I have that on my like list of things to watch. I'm
Hmm.
at heart, you know how there's like, are you Star Trek? Are you Star Wars? Are you Marvel? Are you DC? I am. My fight was, are you Mortal Kombat? Are you Street Fighter? And my answer has always been, get over here.
Yeah, that's good.
So, so
It's
I thought,
actually it's a good film. I saw it a couple weekends ago. I won't tell you how. But it's much better. Well, yeah, it's much better than the original. I don't know if you've seen the original two films from the 90s.
yes, I have.
Mhm.
I love them. They're an adventure on their own.
They are a trip.
they're they're barely rewatchable, but like the nostalgia keeps me going till the end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those I would say those are more colorful movies, which I my eye is attracted to color, so I like that. But this film is a much better made film. So,
Excellent, excellent. I thought you were going to talk about Kamala Khan or Miss Marvel,
oh, do
because
tell.
yeah. So they are developing that property as a television show for Marvel Studios as well, and they have cast young, let's see here, Iman Vellani,
She is
who is
from
from
Canada's. Well, sorry, where is she from?
Markham. She's from
Markham.
Markham.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, and she's Muslim, she's Pakistani American. The character, I should say. I don't know very much about the actress, but she is a person of color, and I'm also here for it. Like, there is no way you could do this without doing that, without properly casting the show. So I'm excited to see. I mean, everyone gets the stereotypes by now of like South Asian Canadians. I am more interested to see um like a better look at like at our Middle Eastern friends. Like the only thing that I'm used to watching was like Little Mosque on the Prairie that was on CBC.
Oh yes.
Yeah, where like a brown family moves in to the
Mhm.
prairies of Canada, and I'm like, okay, okay. And it was, to me, it was very, this was before, this was like almost 15 years ago, and it
Yeah.
was very they had a lot of weird stereotypes, and yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely recall. I never like watched it fully, but I did see it syndicated a little bit, and yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm not going to try and defend it because I think it's a lazy attempt for sure at diversity, but that was also 15 years ago. I think if it was made in this day and age, hopefully that property, Little Mosque on the Prairie, would have a little bit more reverence, you know.
Hmm.
But without generalizing too much, I do think Kim's Convenience, though. Again, I'm not Asian though, so I'm probably not qualified to say that. But I feel like Kim's Convenience does a very good job at bringing some reality to a Asian family living in Canada. Like it feels very genuine, but I don't know that for
Yeah,
sure because I'm not. But from what you've told me too, like
yeah. It's not everyone's experience, but it's definitely a handful of our experience. The Yeah, the
mhm.
drama is the same across the board. So, hmm,
That's where you relate. You're like, okay, I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
the familial drama. That's it. All right, so we've talked about Loki, Black Widow. We're sort of here for her. Um, hey, we talked about Ms. Marvel and Shang Chi. Who are we missing?
What's the? Oh man. The Eternals is coming out this year.
Right? Okay.
Is it November?
I'm not, I believe so.
Yeah. With I'm sorry. I know there's like a bunch of people. I think Richard Madden is in it. From you'll last remember Richard Madden from getting his head cut off in Game of Thrones. Um,
Yes.
Spoiler alert. So that's where he's been. Um, but yeah, the Eternals. I've again, I don't know too much about the Eternals, but I have read things online again through my Reddit folks that um, possibly the Eternals as a way to introduce mutants into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know if that could be a thing, that could be interesting. That could be a nice prelude to a Phase 5 with predominantly X-Men and Fantastic Four characters, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself there a little bit.
Uh, I know nothing about the Eternals. So I like Shang-Chi, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna get obsessed. All I know about this film, because I've been drowning myself in Asian content, is that it was directed by Chloe Zhao, who directed Nomadland,
And
which
she
we all
just
know
didn't she just win a Golden Globe or sorry, not a
an
Golden Globe.
Oscar.
Thank
An
you. An Oscar.
Oscar.
Yeah, Academy
Yeah.
Award.
Yes. So she won the Academy Award for like Nomadland. And
Yes.
I mean, that movie didn't speak to me at all, but it was so, I can see it why somebody deserves a directing award for that movie, because you need to be the best director to get that kind of performance and film off the ground. Like it was, I'm not sure if you saw it, but it was very intimate.
I think I was reading that she is the first woman of color to win Best Director. Is she also the first woman to win uh, an Academy Award for Best Director, or has there been another female that has won that award? I don't, not that I know of, but
I think
maybe
Catherine, what's her name? She directed that war film.
1918? No.
No, even before that. She took it 1 year from, not was it Spielberg? Oh my goodness. It was Jeremy
Oh,
Renner in that
Pearl
film.
Harbor,
It
Catherine
was
Bigelow.
That's it.
Catherine
It's
Bigelow
Catherine Bigelow.
with the
I
Hurt
think
Locker.
that's it. The Hurt Locker. It's like I think it was the story of the retelling of the killing of Osama bin Laden. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
I think
but
Bin
I think
Laden was killed in 2011. So this was a year before that, 2010. She won.
yeah. So she took it that year. So she's not been the first female, but this is again insane that a
Hmm.
woman won. The fact that we're saying that it's insane that a woman won, and the fact that she is Asian,
Yeah,
I'm flabbergasted.
I am flummoxed.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you know what? I love it. These ladies are here to teach the children, and we are here to learn. So,
And we're
whew,
here
that's
to
a
crash the establishment. We're here to crash the
right.
system. So,
Yeah. So, uh, aside from Headless Richard Madden, it also starred Angelina Jolie,
oh
um,
yeah, yeah.
who I was honestly a little bit worried about. Selma Hayek, Kumail Nanjiani, Gemma Chan, Kit Harington. So we're getting like
What? The Stark
a
brother
reunion.
reunion?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is an OnlyFans
So
collab we need.
yes, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I don't know anything about the Eternals. If it brings in mutants into this world, I am here for it. Please, 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 please don't keep pushing this freaking film back. If they keep pushing them back, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like
If they
just
keep pushing
release
it,
them.
if they keep pushing it back, I'm gonna call it New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, ooh, it was pushed back like 3 years, and it
And
was El Trasho.
yes. El Trasho.
Yeah, Escandalo, I think you were gonna say, and it was a scandal.
Yeah, I was gonna say Escandalo because you had called it trash, but I was like, but I agree with you, so it's not really scandalous to say.
Yeah, not great.
But anyway. Hmm. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great, exciting things coming down the pipeline. We didn't think we were gonna have enough things to talk about to fill 46 minutes, but here we are.
Doing our duty.
This has been another great episode of the Full Volume Podcast, and I want to thank you again for listening, keeping it locked. You can send all your great mail to fullvolumepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Comic Book Syndicate or at Comic Book Syndicate, respectively. #FullVolumePod. I have been your host, G.I. Joe Lee.
And I've been Harvey Brent.
And as always, we'll see you next week. And until then, keep it loud.
Keep it at the fullest of volume.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.